Hi, good evening. So now the exam is over. I hope all of you are relaxed now, a little bit more than today's morning. So important चीज अब ये है, we have to see the answer key, है ना, वो देखना चाहिए, so that we can start our mains preparation at the right time. But yes, this is also important. Some of the questions, there उनका आंसर थोड़ा सा left या right हो सकता है, right? That's why even if you're on the borderline, start preparing for mains without thinking too much about this or that, because वो रहने ही वाला है. I'll discuss the whole paper tomorrow along with the answers. Today I'm just focusing on the history part of it. So if we analyze the history part, there were roughly 14 questions, okay, 14 questions exclusively from there, and the questions are divided into topics of Buddhism and Jainism. If we combine these two topics, we have 3 questions from here. If we even include the architecture part, which they have asked, very linked to Buddhism and Jainism, we will have 4 questions. Then specifically from Tamil history, the Sangam age, we have 2 questions. So these are the most dominating areas for this year's paper. 1 question from ancient literature, political timeline, also 2 questions with respect to dynasty have been asked. 1 from European companies, Portuguese have been asked. 1 question from very basic from constitution or the political evolution of India. 1 like this Savdeshi movement, current affair plus freedom struggle. 1 purely current affair which is from the flag code of India, and finally 1 random question from our modern archaeology has come. Now let us see these questions. So overall we have 14 questions and they can be sub-categorized into these categories. Let us see the first part, that following region was Dhanya Katika flourished. So the answer is very easy, it is in the Andhra Pradesh region. Okay, this is the area where it was flourishing. The rest of the option can be easily negated, like Gandhara, Kalinga and Magda, holding no specific relevance with respect to this. And this Dharni Kota, Dhanya Katika, these are the famous centers of Buddhism. Alright, so the answer is easy, it will become A. It was on the easier side. Second, directly, again the question was directly linked to Buddhism and its architecture. Stupa, if we see, Stupa has not started from the Buddhist period itself. We have some mounds which belongs to even pre-Buddhist period or pre-6th century BC. That's why the first statement becomes incorrect. Second, it was generally a repository of relics. Yes, है ना, जो अस्थियां होती हैं और the relics हैं, they were the one on which the stupa was created. Initially 9 stupa were created, 8 on the final rites of Buddha, and plus 1 was the object in which they were kept. It was a votive and commemorative structure. Yes, तो votive offering भी होती थी वहाँ पे, and plus commemorative means if some important event is there, that can also be used for the creation of these stupas. And stupa is mostly linked with Ashoka, who built 84,000 stupa as per tradition, and they became even more beautiful during the time of the later rulers known as Shungas. Then the third part, Porkai, Pompuhar, Muchiri. These are nothing but these are the ports, है ना, of the Sangam age, Chora, Cheza and Pandya. These are the ones which are famous for this. The answer is very easy here. The fourth question, it is, they have asked one specific term, the practice of Vatakirutal, okay, in Sangama was linked to which of the following? So here the answer is a king defeated in battle committing ritual suicide by starving himself to death. And this is a keyword which I have covered in the classes also. You know? These terms used to be very dominating in the paper. Now they have also been reduced by UPSC. And this year they have not asked any specific term from medieval India, again only from ancient India. The question from medieval India have reduced, and from ancient they have drastically increased. Then we see the early medieval period. Okay, early medieval is from the 8th century till the beginning of the 13th century. So they have given 4 dynasties: Hoysalas, Gahadwala, Kakatiya and Yadavas. So if you remember Alauddin's campaign, he was able to defeat Hoysalas, known as Dwar Samudra, their capital, Helbidu, Kakatiyas of Warangal, Yadavas of Devagiri. All these 3 were defeated by him. So Alauddin Khilji, he comes in early 14th century or late 13th century. So they cannot belong to 8th century. And if we see Gahadwala, they were the famous Jaichand. He was defeated by Muhammad Ghori in the battle of Chandavar, 1194. So all these 4 somehow belongs to the later era, after 10th century. So in this answer, we do not have any mistake. So this political timeline, which I have talking about from last 2-3 years, इसको आप अच्छे से समझो. Without this, you will not be able to get answer. कोई ना कोई गलत हो जाएगा. Here literary work on left side and right side we have the author like Devi Chandragupta. So it is not Bilhana, है ना? This is not. This is Vishakha Datta, who has written extensively about Devi Chandragupta. So that is something which you need to remember. The first one is incorrect. Second is Hamira Mahakavya. So Naya Chandra Suri. This is correct. Third, Milind Pana, famous for the questions of King Milinder. It is not Nagarjuna. It is Nagasena. Abas UPSC similar kind of names they have played. So third is wrong. And fourth is Niti Vakyamrita, which also belongs to Samudra Suri. So this is important. The answer would become B. Next question. Souls are not only the property of animal and plant life, but also of rocks, running water. So this is the philosophy which believes that each and everything in the world has soul. Okay, and that is the philosophy of Jainism. Buddhism does not believe in that concept. Okay, so that is a very straightforward answer. Would become B. Again, the ruler which constructed large dam across Tungabhadra. Again, the themes in Indian history, volume 2. The questions are always going to come from there. Answer is very easy. Devaraya first, Devaraya second, and then the Krishna Devaraya. These three are the most prominent rulers of Vijayanagar dynasty, apart from the founders Parihar and Bukka. So you have to remember that. Okay, answer would become A. Next, the medieval Gujarat ruler who surrendered to Div to Portuguese. So answer again very easy. It was Bahadur Shah. Answer is C. Then this was one of the easiest one, where the Governor General of Bengal became the Governor General of India. The Charter Act of 1833. It was Lord William Bentinck who became the first Governor General of India. है ना? तो लक्ष्मीकांत के फर्स्ट चैप्टर में आपको ये हर बार मिल जाएगा. So it is also part of the historical trend. Then these important personality, Alexander Rie, A.H. Longhurst, Robert Sewell, James Burger, 4-5 नाम दी, they are associated with. Like in my classes I have taught about Robert Sewell. So he has written a fantastic account on Vijayanagar, a forgotten empire, and he is an archaeologist. They have given 4 choices which are poles apart: archaeological excavation, press, church, or railway. So answer again will become A. Next question again, Besnagar. Now Besnagar is a pillar of Heliodorus. Vidisha, famous for Vaishnavism. Vishnu ji ki bhakti ke liye famous hai. So it's not a famous Shavish cave shrine. So first one is incorrect. Bhaja Buddhist cave shrine. Yes, we have 3 famous in the nearby area. Okay, Bhaja, Karle, all these. And Sitanvasal in Tamil Nadu. Again, a Jaina cave shrine. That is also correct. So 2 and 3 are correct, but they have not given options like this. So we have to go for only 2. Then 7th August is declared as the National Handloom Day. Okay, and this is a very important fact which many of us would not know. Then it was in 1905 that this was launched on the same day. So from Calcutta Town Hall it was launched, and as a result, if we see, both statements are correct. And इसमें थोड़ा सा confusion हो सकता है, even though expression उस तरीके से उन्होंने direct नहीं किया, but if we see the 7th August is declared as the national as it in 1905, Swadeshi movement was launched on the same day. So it brings out an answer which should be A. कि correct explanation दोनों हैं तो ठीक, and it is also an explanation. These kinds of questions didn't used to come in our civil services, but they used to be part of CDS as well as CAPF. In our USP test, I gave a lot of such questions. Okay, statement basis वाले, और ये देखो फिर से UPSC ने इस पर bombard कर दिया. Right. Next, it is with respect to flag code of India. One of the standard size is 600 mm into 400 mm. If you see, majority of the time UPSC के जो facts होते हैं वो थोड़े से left right होते हैं. And this is not a standard size, but it's a very factual question, very hard to deal with. The second one is relatively easy. The length to height ratio is 3:2. The second one is correct, but the first one is incorrect in this case. All right. So these were the 14 questions which UPSC asked. I'm going to come up with detailed strategy with respect to history for next year, both prelims as well as mains in the due course. है ना? 24 के लिए करेंगे. But tomorrow I'm going to come up with the total analysis of the paper 1. And we'll be able to see what should be your strategy for the next year, what kind of paper eventually come. Even though we cannot speculate what would be the cutoff, but having seen the questions of her history were relatively easy from the last year. We have to see for the other subjects what's the overall outcome of the same. Okay, so I hope all of you have done well in this, and let's meet in the coming days and try to formulate strategy as per your own requirements. So all the very best and congratulations from my side. At least now you're free for few days, so थोड़ा सा rest करो, irrespective of what has happened. Okay, stay strong. In this exam, some people are going to clear, the others have to again slog more number of hours. This has been for many years. Okay, so परेशान मत हो, अपना बेस्ट करते रहो. All the very best.